What's up, YouTube? The Cairo here with another Oscar tank video. Been a couple of changes since the first few videos that I've done. Started out with 2 Oscars, man. Got one here. This guy is my ride or die for sure, man. He follows me everywhere. He was actually the runt of the group that I bought, but what had happened, I guess he didn't like the other dude, man. It was crazy because the other one was the more feisty one. And I thought that he would actually run the tank, but I guess not, because this is the last man standing here. What I did notice prior to me actually leaving out on vacation and I left my son in charge of my tank is that the larger of the Oscars would have little nips at his fins, but not really something drastic. So I knew that there was probably some territorial fighting, but this is a 90-gallon and I got these small guys in here, or had small guys in here, so I thought I had enough space. Water was fine, so it wasn't a water issue. It was probably more so stress because when my son sent me the video and picture of the dead Oscars, which I'm not gonna post because I don't really like to glorify death, especially when it comes to things that we like. But what I did notice is that when I looked at the photos, there wasn't a lot of damage to the fins or damage to the fish as you would see, let's say, when I was raising African cichlids. When they didn't like each other, you knew they didn't like each other. Or when there were territorial issues or aggression issues, you would see it. So like I said, I'm getting used to the temperament and how intelligent these guys are, man. Even yesterday when I was doing my water change, he was, interacting with me during the water change, which is actually what I want to show in the video today. But before I get to that, another addition that I made to the tank, or another change, is the fact of, remember I told you in the other videos that I was going to add a new heater. So I did get the Fluval heater here, because you can't really see it in the tank, but I got this Fluval here, which is a 300 watt E-series, which is the electronic heaters. And I like the LED screen. Like I said, the heater that I had before was pretty cheap, and so I never really trusted it, even though it played its role. But because I had some earned some good money from a couple of graphic design deals that I did, I said I'm gonna treat myself. So I treated myself to the Fluval heater, and I'm a Fluval guy. That's why I'm running 2 Fluval canisters. But anyway, I like it, and the temperature actually matches what my thermometer says, so it's pretty dope. But let's get into the water change video here. What I did, I actually surfed YouTube just like many of you guys do, and gals, to get some ideas on things to. I'm a DIY type of guy, or DIY type of guy. I always get it wrong, but anyway, do it yourself. That's how I get it in my head. But anyway, I like to do a lot of things on my own, especially because I like to build, and like I said, I'm a graphic designer. I do music, so of course I'm into doing stuff on my own, especially when it's things that I can personally do without having to purchase or spend too much trying to get it done. So I took some tips or suggestions from the Inquisitive Fish Guy and I think it was Aquescape Aquatics, or Aquescape Aquatics. Don't want to say it wrong, but shout out to those 2 guys just on the tips that they gave in as far as it went to doing water changes, man. So before I was using my 1 gallon water bottles, and where I would dump the water back in after the water change, but to get the water out, I would use my siphon gravel cleaner. But the problem is that it didn't reach long enough to my bathroom, or it didn't reach long enough outside the door, so I would have to fill a big trash can that got heavy after you put the water in. And then 2, because of the weight, of course I didn't do as big of a water change as I would have, or as I'm going to show you that I did in this video, which was 50% in one day. Before, I would just probably do 25% on one day and then another 25, let's say a day or so later. But this way is very effective. It's very efficient. So I'm loving it. So let's just get in the video real quick and I'll show you guys what I use. Very cheap to make, man. I think I spent a total of about maybe 25 bucks at the most. I know that Python makes a good gravel cleaner for about 30. I think it's 39 bucks, 40 bucks for the 25 length one, but like I said, it was something that I could do myself. Plus I had some vinyl tubing here, and I went out and purchased a hose for it, and then I already had some PVC pipe in here, so I just had to buy like some elbows and then the ball valve. But other than that, man, it turned out great and I loved it. And then I'll show you, like I said, the water change, as well as how I ended where we are today. As you can see, the water's pretty clear and this dude is pretty happy. And I know that face right there means that he's ready to eat. So I'm gonna have to feed him, man, while y'all watch the video. All right, let's get started. Much faster water changes. I'm about to do a 50% water change on this, but I'm loving this setup right here though. Just how quick. Let me just go around. Let y'all see what he's doing. I'm loving that. What I'm gonna do is drain the water out, and then I'm gonna come and of course do everything in reverse and fill the tank back up. But yeah, I'm digging that. And my guy here shows no fear. Yeah, so keeping the tank clean is important. Of course, that's what I'm doing right here. Gotta love it. Make sure everything's turned off so you don't mess up any of your filters or your heating systems. Yada yada, all that good stuff. And so when going back to fill the water back in, all you need to do is lock that in. But before I do it, I want to make sure that my water is not too cold or too hot going in. So I got the cold water on right now, and then I'm gonna hit the knob for the hot, and I'm gonna just make sure that it's pretty warm. Now here's a catch though. You will probably be better off if you got a spare thermometer or something where you can test the water. I'm pretty good with testing it by my hand, only because I've always keep my hands in my water, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good, or have a good warmness to it. I try to keep my tank degrees at 78. Right now they're at 78.5, but the reason that you want to keep the temperatures pretty much the same is so that you don't shock your fish in your aquarium. So this is pretty warm, so what I'm gonna do, gonna lock this in, and then I'll flow the water back in. So now that we locked everything in, you can see that the water's flowing back into the tank. You can see it going through the tube here. And one of the reasons that I chose to use clear tubing was just so I could see the flow in and out. As I'm adding water, what I'm actually gonna also do is add prime, so that the water is, of course, pure, meaning that the chlorine and all that stuff, you know, the metallics, etc., that go in when you add the new water, you know, just got to do that so the water's good enough for the fish. And so we're using this. I like this C-Chem prime. Did I say likes? Yeah, I sound ghetto right now, but anyway, you know what I mean. So I'm gonna put maybe about 2 or 3 caps of this. There's some pretty good stuff. I always want to have this in your arsenal of aquarium products. Other than that, once the tank fills back up, you'll see how clear everything gets pretty quickly. A lot of it has to do with, like I say, just the way that you keep your tank, and then also crushed coral is pretty good for keeping a lot of beneficial bacteria in the tank. Also I have those in my Fluval filters as well, and some a few sacks that I have inside of the media trays. And this is how things turned out after the water change. I let the water cycle overnight because I did the water change like around, I want to say around 7:30, close to 8, which didn't take me long at all, but the water was a bit cloudy due to me stirring around the substrate. Not much dirt, not much grit and all of that stuff in there, but I did want the water to cycle up a bit before I showed the video again, just to let you know how my filtration system works and how everything's set up to actually keep the water pretty clear and clean. All right, so I got Ghost all happy and fed right here. As you can see, he's not moving as much. After I feed him, man, the dude gets kind of kickbackish. So he's chilling right now. But yeah, man, hope you guys enjoyed the video, man. And like I said, anything that you could do yourself, man, try it. Nothing against any of the manufacturers out there. But a lot of times, if you like me, especially when it comes to music, I used to be in the habit of just buying a bunch of stuff, man. I would just buy it just because either it was new or the lights were dope on it. Which, dang, I guess I got a crack habit because I got something with lighting here. But a lot of the music equipment that I used to buy was because I like the blue lights on it, especially how blue looks in the dark, or you know, just things like that. You always want to stay on top of what's new, and sometimes it could become a crack habit, man, where you find yourself spending more than you probably need to keep a system running properly, or to keep whatever it is that you're trying to do to get satisfaction out of it, because you're always trying to keep up with the Joneses or the new whatever it is. But like I said, no hate against the manufacturers, man. I just know of my compulsive habit of just buying just because I can at times, and just when you could do things yourself based on what you already have in your home, man, nothing beats that. So that's the way to go. So I'm gonna stick with one Oscar right now, the Oscar tank, not the Oscars tank. So I guess it all fits now, but I'm gonna stick with one Oscar and one fish outside of my green phantom for one reason, because I want to keep this guy, as far as the dominance goes, or as far as control of the tank, I want to keep him as the main factor in the tank, especially due to my YouTube channel. But I don't want to add any other fish. Like I thought about getting a green terror or a Jack Dempsey or something to throw in here, but I don't want them to come into the tank and take his shine, or where they're all fighting in the tank, man. So I'm gonna try to keep it as peaceful as possible, at least until this guy sizes up. But I think he's pretty happy by himself, man, because like I say, I interact with him a lot, and of course the wife likes the fact that he comes out to talk to us, man. So I might just stick with that, man, for now. But thanks again for tuning in. Subscribe if you like what I'm doing. Like I say, this is probably not one of those channels where, at least for now, where I'm gonna be like, yeah, this is how to. Especially when it comes to these fish. Once I get more familiar with the fish, of course, I'll share some how-to, or some, let's say, some almost expert advice on keeping these guys healthy. But because this is my first round with this type of a fish, as well as he's not really big, so I can't really show any progress of the development, I'm going to just keep it as, let's say, an informative type of series, where how I'm doing in my, you know, raising of this fish. But I love this fish, man. I really do. I like the way that he interacts, man, and I think that that's something, because I don't know how many, you know, we like predatory fish and things like that, but I like fish who come out and allow you to enjoy them, and then of course they're not running. I hate runners. I hate scary stuff. So which is why I got a big dog. No shade against those with small dogs, man. I try to keep it peaceful when I blurt out my rants. But anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. Have a good day. I'm out.